So one of the other elements, and one of the big elements that we put into the game, working with our audio team, Gleek, was the idea of a metronome system. And this idea came up over margaritas in Dallas one night, but we decided to put the whole game onto a beat. So every level is actually running at, I think usually 120 beats per minute. And you'll see off in the distance, you'll see elements of the scenery, of the environment, of the characters actually moving to the beat. And it's kind of it's a good way to immerse the player into the world without them necessarily realizing it. So here we are. We've started outside of an old house here. And we've got a really big bee coming the way. No, he is not going to be terribly friendly. So scattered throughout the world, we've got these snails who pop up with player directions for you. Some mysterious person is leaving you little letters, giving you hints about how to go about solving the levels and whatnot. So here we go. Let's go take this guy out. Now, for flying enemies in particular, I always like to use the piercing weapons. Let's see. Here we go. Piercing weapons are good for actually targeting high-flying enemies, but we can also do something else. Pax has an ability called spore kinesis, where he can pick things up in the world and throw them at enemies, and you can also build platforms and all sorts of interesting things with it. So let's do that with this beer bottle here. Go. We're going to be illustrating the Spore Punisher in just a moment. Whack him one. Now the Spore Punisher is another ability Pax has. Whenever you see an enemy glowing green like that, you can actually target him, press the B button, and have him explode, taking out nearby enemies. This is a lot more fun up here where I'm going to encounter a lot of different enemies. But again, we can also sit around here and use the environment to our advantage as well. Or we can shatter it on the wall if we want. Now these are morels. They're a more technical-oriented race of mushrooms that in the previous levels we got to help out and see some. We're going to see some more of them throughout the course of this level. And they got imprisoned in this weird cage, courtesy of the Amanitas. So we've got scouts and an Amanita sage coming down to pick us up. They're doing a pretty good job of beating me up. Now this fellow here is bleeding green, and he's actually going to run over and pick up some health for himself. Here we can see what happens when Pax dies. We didn't want to be punishing the player constantly just for exploring and playing the game, so I actually regrew back here. Let's see if I can get a good one here. Here we go. Now I can use the Spore Punisher on him. And hopefully some other guys will get... Oh, nobody else got taken out in that blast. Let's change up our weapons here. Take him out. Actually, this illustrates something interesting about the way our goals are represented. We've got a sort of a movie poster, and as you complete aspects of it, parts of it will fill in. You can also use the Wii remote to aim over each of the individual goals to get sort of a hint on what could go on with it. So for example, those Morelses told me I had to warn the other Morels further up ahead, so it gives me a little bit of a hint as to what I'll need to be doing to get there. We're going to be encountering sort of a mid-level boss. And there are a couple ways to take him out, but I'm not going to show you the super clever one. I'll leave that one for the players. So this fellow up here, the possum, is throwing acorns at me. One of Pax's ability with the Spore Kinesis is he can grab things thrown at him. If I can do it right, let's try this again. And I can throw them back in. Now there are a couple of ways you can actually deal with this boss, but this is one of the more fun. He leaps off the recliner, and here comes some cockroaches. Tucked away in every nook and cranny of the game are little hidden things, such as the collectible on this level, the possum tooth, which unlocked me some more concept art right there. And also, hidden around, let's see how clever we were here. Oh, they got that one. The meteorite chunks are hidden all over the place. You'll feel it pulsing in your hand as you go through it. Here we have the Morel Refinery, and it actually doubles as a warning system for them. Comprised of a sort of bizarre set of televisions, machines, LED lights, all kinds of weirdness going on here. A TV remote, we'll see. So if I can get up to this tower and warn the Morels, we'll get things moving. Got some ammo for one of the other weapons I'll get later. So again, there's a lot of environment interaction here. You can push this around to set off the alarm here. Sort of this whole Rube Goldberg mechanic here that the Morels have built sounds an alarm. And now they're going to activate their defense mechanism. Or I should say they're going to start activating their defense mechanism. The player is actually going to have to finish it for them.